Hello everyone, so good to see you. Welcome to another Good Vibes Gaming discussion where we're talking about Super Mario Party Jamboree. I'm your host Daniel. I'm joined here by our good friend Brandon and also a special guest today. Hello Tris, how's it going? How you doing?
Ahoy, I'm doing well. I'm been pretty much just obsessing over Mario Party since it came out, so of course I'm here to talk about it.
I knew we had to have you on here because you two are probably some of the biggest Mario Party people that I know. So I knew for certain that we needed to have like a proper deep dive discussion on one of the best party games I think we've had on the console in a very long time. And it's nice to have you here, not just holding the camera on the show floor like we did in the video prior. So.
We're all dice block pilled, so this is this is a great meeting of the minds.
Absolutely. So I feel like we've had some really good initial first impressions as far back as the first trailer, but now that we've played it for a good amount of time, I've been wanting to know, do you think that this could be perhaps the best Mario Party in the series? Tris, let's start with you and your opinions first.
Oh man, I mean, right off the bat, like from you know those initial first impressions, it already looked great. Like everything they chose to show off right away was looking good. Like everyone's like, wait a minute, this could be it. Like we might finally be back. Finally, a brand new Mario Party in this classic format for the first time in what, over 15 years, I think at this point. That's, you know, not superstars solely reliant on classic stuff. So this was a big deal from the first time it was announced, and now actually getting to play it for like well over a week at this point. Yeah, it's easily a top 5 for me. I'm not certain if it's like, you know, the best one for me yet, but it's definitely top 5. And I think that's largely because it's hard to top like the favorites I've been playing for 20 years kind of thing. So that might be personal bias holding it from being like the top one, but everything in this package pretty much places it very close to that.
Yeah, there are some that I've been playing for years now, like the N64 titles are something I hold close to my heart, which is funny because I remember most of my memories playing Mario Party single player, being the only child that I was. So, but the GameCube ones as well. I remember fondly playing GameCube Mario Party with a lot of my friends, and I feel like Jamboree kind of invokes the GameCube feeling most since any Mario Party I played ever since that actual era. Brandon, how are you feeling about Jamboree thus far?
I think I'm pretty much in agreement with Tris. This is definitely a top 5 Mario Party for me. And just to throw it out there, my favorites are 2, 4, and 6. Just, I don't know why it's even numbered Mario Parties, but that's how it is.
I think that's where we diverge because my favorites are probably 3 and 5, so I'm the odd one out.
Yes,
quite literally.
No, same.
See, Tris understands.
I had a copy of 5 growing up. Unfortunately, it was damaged, so I didn't get to play a lot of it. So think if I'd played more, maybe my opinion would be different.
I think because 5 is my favorite and 3 is also very high up there, might be why Jamboree speaks so much to me, because those games have really solid side modes as well. 5 has like the super duel mode and like the card party, like a ton of different ways to play. 3 has like that whole like dueling mode where it's like the 1v1 with like the little allies. Yeah. So these those two are like well known for having more to do than just the party mode. While many other Mario parties, you know, throughout the years had more, those are kind of the ones that stick out to people for that kind of thing. So Jamboree having all these extra things as well and done well and are fairly memorable, at least, you know, right now, I think it makes sense why, or that's just another reason why I think it's doing really well for people like me who love those ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So going off of that, like to start properly, of course, the main mode is party mode itself. We've got 7 whole boards, 5 all new, 2 returning from the N64 era. Brandon, I'll start with you. What are your favorites, least favorites, overall thoughts on these boards?
The funny thing about this is, despite how long the game's been out already and how much time I've already put into it, there's still 2 boards I haven't even played yet.
What?
I have not played on Goomba Lagoon, and I have not played King Bowser's Keep.
Interesting.
So those are 2 blind spots for me. I did get to experience them in the excellent party planner mode.
Oh, like story mode, yeah.
but I didn't play them outright. But so far, I'm really surprised at, was it Rolling Raceway? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Roll'em Raceway.
Roll'em Raceway. I really like that board. It has such a unique premise compared to the other ones. Even something like the Galleria, where I feel like I can go to that board and just have a wholly unique experience from the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So the couple times I've played that, I've really enjoyed it. And then the Galleria, of course. A mall is just a really good idea for a Mario Party board. The 3-story design of the board is really interesting. It reminds me the most of a GameCube-style Mario Party board of all the boards in the game.
And Rainbow Galleria also feels really well designed around the new systems they put into this game. Like the idea of the Jamboree buddies and the 30+ items that exist in this game. It feels like this board was kind of the one designed to really show off all of these different features.
Yeah, especially with items. Like some of them are just exclusive to each board. And of course, the Rainbow Galleria, it wants to put emphasis on purchasing and buying these items. And so they've set up different shops in different places to buy specific kinds of items. So it's really the one to display the use of all these items all in one place. And I appreciate that there's most boards in this game aren't just like go to shop, buy either Chomp Call or Golden Pipe. And that's just essentially the entire game. Unfortunately, Brandon, Goomba Lagoon does sell the golden pipes like candy, and I think unfortunately Goomba Lagoon might be my least favorite of the boards here because it restricts movement because of high tides and low tides. So there's literally times when you're just on an island with 4 or 5 spaces just looping in circles and unable to escape
for a couple turns.
Going back to Mystery Land, baby.
Oh yeah. Man. Oh gosh, yeah. It's just that, but oh my gosh. One of the nice things about this game though is that there's so many movement options.
Yeah.
There's the the warp block, the shop hop box to take you to a random shop, the pipe which takes you anywhere on the board, which I think is just so amusing and hilarious. Of course, like the golden pipe, the mirror to swap places, the super mirror to swap with whoever you want to. There's so many ways to get around this time. It's crazy.
And I think that actually helps with Goomba Lagoon. I think that's a board where you really want to be strategizing which of those items you kind of get and which ones, as they come into play, you try to make sure you have in case you get trapped. It's definitely a map where if you get trapped, you're screwed unless you keep those items in mind.
Something like the shop block is really effective on a board like Goomba Lagoon because there's 3 shops on that board, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're all spread out on the different corners of the board, so there is always a way to get out as long as you're planning ahead.
Yeah. It rewards you for planning ahead, probably the most because of that layout.
Yeah, maybe I just haven't played on it enough, but my initial impressions were just like, this is hard to move around compared to other ones. Like, for example, one of my favorite ones, Westerland, came back from Mario Party 2. I'm so glad that we have retro boards at all, but Westerland is a highlight for me. Just to hear that theme again, to see it all in, like, not just pre-rendered flat background, but to see it all so lightly in 3D. Oh, man. I'm so happy to play on that board again.
If you go back and watch our initial reaction to the reveal of Mario Party, the one thing that made me pop off was the reveal of Westerland.
Oh my god, Westerland! There's emotion.
Because I love that board. It's probably my favorite board in Mario Party 2. Horrorland and Pirate Land are right behind it. But they know their audience. They knew what boards to pull. Westerland being a great pick. I'd never played Mario's Rainbow Castle before, so I don't have a lot of knowledge on that one. But Daniel, I feel so much sadness for you because Mario Party 3 got shafted again.
Oh my god. So as everyone probably knows, Mario Party Superstars got 2 boards from Mario Party 1, 2 boards from Mario Party 2, and 1 board from Mario Party 3. And now kind of continues a trend where we only got 1 less of Mario Party 3, which means there's no board for Mario Party 3 in this game. I'm trying to think of which one would be a good one. I guess the fan favorite would probably have to be Waluigi's Island of Mario Party 3. Now that we have Woody Woods.
I think Chilly Waters might be the only other one that would work, because thematically it would be the most different to everything else that we have in Jamboree already.
Yeah.
It fit nicely on the map.
Yeah.
I kept thinking before I realized that it was a photo op location, that little cracked corner that's below the area with the boards is like, oh, are they gonna break that open? And it's gonna be like Creepy Cavern or something, because that's the only one that can fit in there. Not my favorite board in Mario Party 3, but I'll take what we can get at this point. But
I felt so bad giving you that information, because it felt like I was ripping your heart out.
Oh.
I was like some kind of tea. Well, why is it so like front and center on the island with all the Mario Party boards? I don't know. Maybe they'll still change it in the future. But yeah, I mean, you played some Mario Party 3 boards very recently, Brandon. We played Deep Bloober Sea and Spiny Desert on our charity stream the other day, and
I spent most of it blindfolded, but you know, I had a good time.
We had some pretty interesting rules for that one, but yeah, I want to play Mario Party 3 specifically more with you, Brandon, because there's also the dual boards as well. That's something that I think also helps to flesh out the game as much as you see in Jamboree with all of its other modes as well. But speaking of modes, within Mario Party itself, this is a game that introduced pro rules, something that we haven't really seen before in Mario Party. And there's a bunch of different rules that are added and implemented here. Like they kind of remove some random chances. In some cases, you start off the board with an item. You're set to 12 turns. If you land on a lucky space, you can choose whether you want like coins or a dice block. So many little rules that they added onto this. What do you feel about pro rules as it stands right now, Tris? What was your opinion of them?
I thought it was so interesting to see at first, because I love playing Mario Party with all my friends, and I love the idea of customizability with the rules, having something different to change it up. I mean, so often you'll see people come up with like house rules, for example. Like they'll start with handicap stars, so there's something to lose from the get-go, or they'll enact certain rules, like, okay, certain items, if they appear in the shop, we're not buying them because we're going to play this a certain way. Well, pro rules kind of feels made for that, for the people that take Mario Party a little bit more seriously, a bit more competitively, and I really like what they did with it. I think my only real complaint about it is I wish there was the option to have more than 12 turns, like maybe like 12 and, I don't know, 18, because some boards feel like they're a little too short on 12 turns. It's not enough.
Yeah, I've had that criticism specifically of Roll'em Raceway.
Yep.
I found that the first lap is the longest because you don't have items, and sometimes getting that first set of dice blocks is tough. So the couple of times I've played Roll'em Raceway, by the end of however many turns it was, the second time happened to be pro rules, I wasn't finishing my first lap until the game was ending.
Yep. I've had that twice as well, where just my luck with that board, I either like right away get moved past the item shop because of those event spaces, keep landing on lucky spaces and being given coins instead of dice blocks. So though not on pro rules in my experience, I've had 2 out of 3 rounds on Roll'em Raceway have been terrible luck, and I barely finished the first lap.
I think pro rules is a great idea. This is something that I specifically said that I wanted leading up to this game coming out, was more customizable rules, because like you said, Tris, that's what keeps a game alive. It's a board game. House rules are just part of the culture with that.
Exactly.
So having more options like that is great. I think for me, rather than having 2 sets of different rules, I would rather that whole list of things just be toggles.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because there are things about pro rules that I'd love to play in a regular Mario Party. The limited item shop, starting with an item. I think stuff like that's really cool. Being able to choose the bonus star that, is at the end of the round before it starts. Just things like that would keep me coming back to Mario Party more and more and more, because I could have a completely different experience every time. So I love that they're here, but I'm with you. I wish there was a little bit more control.
Yeah, I really hope that in some kind of update in the future, we'll have more options to do those kind of pro rule toggles with a regular Mario Party game. Because as you were saying, Brandon, all of the stuff that they're adding to this with pro rules, I really hope that they have it as a toggle, because there's so many cool little bits and features here that I want to have on there. One bit and feature that maybe may yes or no happen in the future, Jamboree buddies. How do you feel about the inclusion of Jamboree buddies? Because we had the option to have many friends in Super Mario Party on the first iteration of this game on Switch, but nowadays we can only have one. When we see a character on the board, we can pass by them. Everyone starts a showdown minigame, which is a fairly long minigame compared to the rest in the game. And you can have them on your side, which, as you know, has some pretty crazy benefits from doing so. Brandon, I was wondering, what do you feel about what they did with the buddy system with Jamboree?
I think this is the most mechanically interesting thing they've introduced to the game by far.
Yep.
These Jamboree buddies are so volatile. You have to work so hard to even get one, and once you have it, you can lose it like that. The first Jamboree buddy I ever got was Princess Peach, and I lost her on the same turn that I got her on.
Oh no.
In fact, you know, there are achievements for using everybody's Jamboree power or whatever. I haven't gotten a single one yet. I have gotten Jamboree buddies on every match I've played and have yet to even get to use their abilities. But I love that. I love that it's not a just instant win card. And in some cases, a Jamboree buddy is to your detriment. Yep. I had an interesting experience on Mario's Rainbow Castle, where my friend Aisha, she got Mario. She stole him from me, actually. And his power lets him roll an additional 3 to 8 dice block and add it onto yours. Well, the star had just gotten turned into Bowser, and she was very, very close to the end of that road. She rolled a 1. Hooray! I'm not gonna go up and get a Zatar. And then Mario said, I'm a roll an 8. Let's go! And she ran right up there and lost a star. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh no.
So yeah, they can hurt you as much as they can help you, and I think that's lovely.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences with the King Bowser's Keep and the whole conveyor, the Bowser Byway as they call it, where it can swap directions. I've been sent on that, trapped because people keep changing it, forced to get an ally on there, and then it being Waluigi, not helping me in my rolls at all or anything, then land on consecutive Bowser spaces to lose 4 total stars during time with an ally.
God.
So they're not always to your benefit, but I think that's the best way to balance them, honestly. Like, this isn't like Super Mario Party where, you know, one of the bonus stars is what's the lucky ally or who got the most allies. Like, there you go. Like, no, they're very much worked into the core gameplay loop of the Mario Party itself. And I think my only complaint with them is there's a couple spaces that I feel like the fact that they don't affect feels a little inconsistent. Like, for example, a chance time. It feels a little weird that they can't activate that a second time, but some event spaces, like in Rainbow Galleria, there's an event space where a Womp will buy an item from you, like forcibly buy an item from you. That'll get activated twice. So some things are a little odd if they will or they won't.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think they're actually pretty balanced.
There's been a lot of occasions in which, yeah, it feels like it's been fairly balanced because you can get 2 stars in 1 turn if you have the money for it. So you can also lose 2 stars in 1 turn if you have that. You can pass by Boo and you can steal coins so that you have enough to then steal a star after. That's the thing that you can as well. Devious, but I think overall, yeah, I think this is something that somehow they've added this much power. Sometimes too much power in our situations, and then you just pass right off. Like you pass somebody and they're like bye, and then you just keep on going.
Yep.
That's just really funny.
One of the first Jamboree buddies I got was Luigi on Rainbow Galleria, and I had a triple dice, And Luigi's ability is he has a chance to max out the dice roll. Well, I didn't know that would max out all 3 dice from a triple dice. So with Luigi, I got a 30 with the triple dice, ran around the entire like middle and upper sections of the mall, and by chance with the placements of the star, ran into the star space twice, and I had over 100 coins, so I got 4 stars in 1 turn, and I'm pretty sure I still didn't even end up winning in the end because of other shenanigans happening in the game. Like, so much can happen around a Mario Party that, yeah, they're daunting, but they're not game-breaking, and I think that's a big deal.
One of the very first clips that I posted about Jamboree was from night 1 when I had it. I was on Mega Wiggler's that board, and I stole a star from Peach as Shy Guy. He landed on a space in which it was a trap that it would give a star to Peach, so that star went to her, and then went right back from her, and then went right back to her in the same turn. Within, as I mentioned in that post, nothing you own in Mario Party is your property for more than 10 seconds. So, yeah, it's definitely a Mario Party. That's capturing that essence.
I think if I could levy one criticism towards the Jamboree buddies, it's that there's always a second one that shows up on like the last 3 turns, which I don't know how I feel about, because like, depending on where the buddy ends up, it might not even be near the star, but I guess there's strategy in that too.
Yeah.
I wish it was like with 5 turns left, so that there's a little bit of buffer at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know, how do you both feel about that?
Yeah, the timing for them showing up, I mean, it definitely is random. I've had times where they show up on the very second turn of the game, but yeah, there does seem to be one that will appear consistently within those last few turns, and it's usually in the later half of those last few turns where they don't really get to be all that useful, unfortunately, showing up then, but...
Yeah, I think... because sometimes, because of where they appear, you can't even reach them until you get to the final turn, in which you pass them, you'll earn them, and you don't even get a turn to really utilize them in any meaningful way. So it's like, well, what was the point of that in the first place?
Prevent someone else from doing so.
yeah, I guess so. But then you have to like endure a long mini game just at the very end just for that.
I think it's worth noting though with the mini games, a lot of them are actually like, a lot of them are pretty good, and it's because they're quick paced and they have a lot going on. But then you have ones that are the same thing for 3 minutes. Look at Waluigi Pinball, for example. As great as it is to have like more Waluigi Pinball stuff, you're playing just pinball for 3 minutes at least. It gets a bit old after like the minute and a half. Whereas like Mario's minigame keeps changing up, Peach's minigame keeps changing up, Luigi's is like 10 different puzzles, Wario's is quick fire like quiz questions. Like it's, some of them are very quick paced where the length isn't that much of a problem, but then some of them are the same thing for the entire duration, not really changing much. And it gets a little old.
I can only Donkey Konga so many times to the same song.
And when playing online with a desyncing song.
Oh no.
Yeah, that song keeps going, but the notes don't match, and it's purely a game of visuals at that point.
Oh yeah, like the one with Waluigi's Pinball, that one is pretty much also just RNG for the most part.
Yep.
Like if you get all the Waluigi letters and you spin, you hope you get the one where it's like 8 different balls come out at the same time, because that makes your score go up like crazy. Sometimes you get the blooper to ink the other characters, and it's just like, well, big deal. They can probably fight through it anyways.
His mini game took me like 4 attempts in the single player to beat. Just by luck.
Yeah, pretty much. That one and the one where you have to get the random key to get first place, like with 3 doors.
Oh my god, that was awful.
Yeah. I can't believe.
And there's no way to
the gatekeepers.
I think it was 3 times in a row. When I tried that, the CPU won on the first possible turn. And then I have to play the entire mini game. It won't let me leave.
The goal should have been just open a door, not get first place. Like, what the heck?
Please.
But anyways, one of the Jamboree showdown I really appreciate is Mario's, because it's literally 3 classic mini games.
Yeah, it's
Leaf
great.
Leap, in which
is what my favorite minigame.
Yeah, you climb up, and then they contextually lead into each other. So when you climb all the way up, you're on this tower in which you play bumper balls. These are all 5-player minigames, by the way. You play bumper balls with 5 players, which is pretty hilarious, pretty fun in its own right. And then after bumper balls, you all float up even higher to do Shy Guy Says, the Mario Party 2 rendition of it, by the way, which I'm so happy the poetry that Shy Guy can finally play and win Shy Guy Says is wonderful. but yeah, these mini games, like they're a bit long for some cases, but I do appreciate the ones that constantly change, or ones that are just, you know, Yoshi's is pretty fun too, because you're just all riding a Yoshi.
I love Yoshi's. I love Rosalina's. Yeah, there's some really good ones there. Mini game length in general is something that I've kind of been pondering over the last week. I think this is something we've all taken notice of, and that's that the Mario parties tend to take a lot longer than Superstars. And I don't know if the mini games are why or what the actual culprit is.
It's like a mixture of... Because obviously it depends on what minigames come up. Because, like, if tricky turntables come up, oh, well, I mean, add an extra 10 minutes to your entire party. That minigame is way too long. But I think it's a mix of minigames and also the boards themselves. Because some of the boards have enough events happen that, you know, take a while. Like, Rainbow Galleria in general feels like a slower board than, like, Mega Wiggler's Street Party, for example. I feel like if you did 10 turns on both, your times at the end would be fairly different. Because I've done, like, 10 turns in Mega Wiggler Tree Party, that's an hour, despite the 90 minutes the game will tell me. But then 10 turns in Rainbow Galleria, that might be closer to the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think there are some grievances with the length of the boards in general. Like, when I first did the preview events, I felt like the pace was faster. Like, characters definitely move faster on the board, which is an option we never had until Mario Party 3, to actually have them just zoom back and forth. But it still takes a while for games to finish, like even longer than the previous games on the Switch in some cases. Like, I didn't notice so much in Western Land because I was streaming that on Twitch with some of our friends. That you see that on our VOD channel. But I think it was when I played Mario's Rainbow Castle that I started to, like, kind of get peeved and really annoyed that there's just a lot of bloat in some cases. Just Mario Party 1, you spin the dice block, you move, it ends turn. I think the most turn-prolonging event in Mario Party 1 are the single-player mini-games, and where just that one character plays the mini-game. But, like, now, the characters, they have to, like, move, they have to turn, they have to animate, they have to celebrate every little thing that they do. I noticed that, or laments bad things that happen as well. Like, I can't listen to the beautiful Rainbow Castle remix because of all the jingles and all the other stuff happening between everything that's going on, which is, there's a jingle for everything. When you get an item, when you see Boo, when there's event spaces, like, every time someone lands on a space, they're like, yeah, I did it! Luigi moved 2 spaces to get 3 coins, and he's so proud of himself. Happy for you, Luigi. Like, it doesn't seem like much, but all these little things, they add up over time, and it's kind of maddening sometimes. I kind of just want the characters to just take their turn, but I don't know. I think it adds a lot of personality to it, but dang, if it doesn't get repetitive as time goes on. Like,
it's frustrating too, because, you know, we were just talking about some boards with like 12 turns not feeling long enough. I mean, it may not be long enough in a game sense, but in real-time hours, it probably was long. Yeah. So, like, you know, I would rather play a game of like 15, 20 turns of Mario Party so there's enough time for things to happen. Yep. But you're going to be sitting there for quite a long time. I think, Daniel, you did that stream on GVG. I think it was right after the game came out. And you said it was like a 2.5 hour board.
We did Western Land for, I think, 15 turns was the length that we wanted to go for. I noticed definitely when there's computer players, it goes by faster.
Yeah, because you just set their movement speed.
Yeah, they just have all automated stuff when they're going to shop, immediately snap decision. But then we're all human, so we got to think about our decisions. Right. And when you got 4 players, it is a different story. So yeah, the pace can be all very different at times. But yeah, I've been wondering, like, is this really slower than Superstars and Super Mario Party before it? I guess it might be somehow.
I think
Yes.
it is. It's not inherently a flaw, but it is noticeable, and it would be nice to have options to speed it up a little.
Yeah, I don't know. Characters, they also don't need to go, ha, yeah, whoa, yeah, after every little movement they make in mini games. Like that, it kind of drives me crazy that when you're doing practicing, they're nice and quiet. But when you're in the actual mini game, they have to celebrate every minute thing and coin that they get and jump that they do. It's just
that's been a problem for a while in these games. I want to say like most of this era, I think we've had that problem at the very least. Like something we definitely didn't have back in like the GameCube era, the N64 era, but now I guess it's like player feedback, like guaranteeing you notice you did something by hearing your character's voice. But it is definitely excessive. But that's not necessarily a fault of this specific game. I think it's just more obvious with this game.
Yeah. And also, speaking of mini games themselves, so I wrote down just real quick what we have here in this game. So 4-player mini games, there's 29 4-player mini games. 7 of them are motion. 1v3, there's 12, and there's 2 of them are motion. 2v2, there's also 12, but 4 of them are motion. And then duel and item mini games, there's 5 each, and I think 2 of those each also are motion. So I think we have a total of 73 mini games that can appear on a board if you have motion on, but that's whittled down to 57 if you don't have motion on. Have you guys been playing with motion on or off mostly while doing these boards thus far?
I think mostly motion off, though I do tend to alternate back and forth a lot.
Most of my playtime's been with motion on. Once I started playing the single player, I had motion off, just so I could use a pro controller. But I've definitely noticed that I've been playing the same mini games a whole lot, and I'm starting to feel concerned about that.
It does feel like, yeah, there's a lot more repetition, especially after coming off of a game like Superstars, which genuinely had the largest pool of mini games that you can have in a Mario Party game. Nowadays, like, they advertise there's over 100 mini games, but a lot of them are kind of within their own modes that they haven't adapted to the boards themselves, which they easily could, but it's just kind of...
A lot of them could be, yeah.
It's kind of just left to things like the Koopathlon, Kaboom Squad, and so on.
Yeah, a lot of them, in fact. Like, I think there's like 10 minigames in the Kaboom Squad. I think there's like 15 or so in Koopathlon. Like, when you really add up just how many are in the side modes, that's where the like 110 or 112, something like that, minigames actually come from. And coming off of Superstars, where like every minigame could show up in standard play, it does feel like the game spread a little thin with all these extra modes. It's cool that the extra modes are there, but I don't think they should have counted towards the minigame count, because the game should be a little bit more than just a minigame collection. And if most of those minigames, like a large majority of those minigames, aren't available in the main part, like the main mode, I feel like it's definitely a bit... they're not lying about the numbers, but it's not fully true.
Yeah, and it does affect like the perception of gameplay, because like in a game of Superstars, you know, you might get a repeat twice, maybe 3 times in a 20-turn game, but in Jamboree, I found that I've gotten repeats up to 4 to 5 times.
Ooh.
Of like 4-player mini games. I mean, you're almost always going to play a 4-player mini game. That's like the majority of the time.
Right.
But I don't know if I'm just unlucky or if that lower count really is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pool of 22 mini games when you don't have motion on. That's not a whole lot, honestly.
Yeah, that's the motion being off puts a big dent in the minigame count. Like, I'd rather play with motion just so that there's more there.
And it's weird too, especially since majority of the motion minigames don't need the motion, is the even weirder thing. Like there's a 2v2 minigame where it's like the arm wrestling, that the characters are button mashing, so you think, oh, it's gonna be a button mashing minigame. No, it's you take your Joy-Con and you swing it as fast as you can. So I guess it's to set it apart from like Domination, the 4-player minigame, which is a button masher. But we've had many minigames across the Mario Party series where, like, in the same Mario Party entry, there's like 4 minigames that have the exact same controls. It's just kind of the timing's different, the presentation's different. That's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a few minigames that are very similar. But I think they got a little afraid of that and made some motion control minigames that didn't really need to be motion, and they could very easily be a controller version of them. And because the minigames don't adapt, you just turn them off. Yeah, that does minimize the pool even more.
I'm reminded of the GameCube games in which Rumble, there were specific Rumble minigames that they instead, if you don't have Rumble on, they just have visual cues on screen instead, and you can still play those in the pool. And I figure, like, at this point, like, yeah, there's different options to have these also playable without motion, if so. I'm a little surprised that we're still kind of feeling through how to do and implement motion control with a game that, you know, you can just easily do without in some cases, for sure.
Yeah. There's not many mini games here that are like the epitome of motion controls from the original Super Mario Party. What comes to mind is the one where there's like all the shapes in the jar, and you gotta like,
I love that one.
Like tilt it and shake it to get everything out. Like that one, yeah, that one needs motion controls. But there's not many mini games like that here in Jamboree. There really aren't. Most of them you could look at and go, yep, that could have been buttons. You could have like mapped that to 2 different buttons or a stick and a button, and yeah.
I know we usually, like, when we talk about DLC with Mario Party, we're always like, more boards, more boards, more boards. But for the first time, I'm like, can we have some more mini games? I just want like 20, 30 more just to round it out a little bit.
I still think the best way to handle DLC for Mario Party is like a board, 2 characters, and 5 to 10 minigames paired with them. And you can do that multiple times if you want, and then it adds up. Yeah,
there's definitely different ways that they can expand upon this, which we've said with Mario Party games in the past, which they have not. I'm RIP to everyone who was just hoping that Superstars was going to get more DLC, and instead they made a new game instead, which I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that Jamboree is the shape and form that it is right now. But this really is the time where I think, okay, this is, if you want to add DLC, this is the game to do it to at this point for many different reasons, because even with the Mario Party, the party mode, there's still a lot of different games to keep yourself occupied, although there are separate side modes, like the Koopathon for and Bowser Kaboom Squad for massively larger multiplayer games that we've been able to enjoy thus far. Fun little side diversions as well, and the single player mode too. Like, there's a lot more to do than just party mode, which pretty much was just the core of Superstars. There wasn't really much else to do other than party mode in that game, so I really appreciate them branching out more for these. Are there any of these modes that specifically stand out to you both more than the others?
I really like the Koopathon, honestly. I loved the Coinathlon back in Star Rush. I actually thought that was like the highlight of that game. Just the idea of that mode was really cool. So seeing it here in Koopathon, I think, is really fun, and it's hectic. Like it's fast paced. It gets people thinking, and it's, I mean, you can't play 20 players or friends for some reason, but it is a fun time. More minigames than that would have been nice, though obviously that would come from the greater pool, and I don't want that to take away from the main party mode, of course. But even more variety into it, I think, would be even more fun. But Koopathon is a lot of fun. I do also like Bowser Kaboom Squad, though I think Koopathon is the one that stands out more to me because of its like fast-paced nature and the way you're competing with everyone.
I think for me, I think I gravitate a little bit more to Bowser's Kaboom Squad, but that's because I like cooperative multiplayer a lot, specifically with friends. So like if you got a group of 8 friends to play Bowser's Kaboom Squad, I feel like that would be an unforgettable experience.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to do that way.
When I'm playing by myself, though, Koopathon is definitely way more interesting. I can hone in on being competitive and just enjoy the frantic nature of that mode.
Yeah.
I've been so into trying to to just get high scores in Compathlon, because there's some people that are they're just so good at it. It's crazy. But when you really lock in and you get like you max out all the possible coins in a round, it feels really good. But then you get to the Bowser mini game and they're so hard. I don't think I've won one thus far. 20-player mini games, I cannot win any of these myself.
They're tough. They're tough. The Bowser minigames are also interesting because all those survival minigames could be adapted into 4-player minigames for Bowser minigames in the main mode. Like, the way they're all done, they could have been.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Bowser minigames in the past in which if you lose, you lose everything, a bunch of coins or whatnot. So that, yeah, even since the very first Mario Party, there was like Bowser minigames in which there was like you have to get a certain high score or whatnot, or finish in a certain place to not lose money. So there's just a lot of stuff here where I'm sure they can, well, we hope that they can kind of fine tune and recontextualize some of these for board gameplay, Mario Party mode. But I guess a lot of that is just, it remains to be seen thus far. So
what's here is good, and it's real good. It's just weird in the biggest Mario Party ever that I'm wishing there was more. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
I think it's about the presentation to it too, because it's, you know, and not to sound ungrateful about it, but it really does come down to like what you're looking for out of Mario Party, I think. And I think because so many of us are focused on Mario Party as a mode, everything else is extra. There's so much put into the extras that what we feel is missing from the core Mario Party mode stands out a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's what it is exactly, because Superstars was essentially like just all nostalgia. It was bringing back a lot from the past and putting it in the forefront. Mainly with the mini games, that was like the main emphasis, was just having all those back again. And now they've kind of taken what they've learned, and they've done more new than rehashing the old. Because there's classic mini games, there's classic boards, but most of it is finally like proper new mini games that we haven't seen in a very long time. And it's just, I guess it's just finding that balance. Like, it also depends what you value in your Mario Party games. Like, do you value the specific boards themselves, the mini games that kind of flesh out the experience, or different modes that kind of keep you entertained when you're not wanting to party with friends all the time? So yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely probably the best Mario Party experience I've had on the Switch, and it's gonna be the new Mario Kart 8, which we're gonna just all gather around to play Mario Party Jamboree at this point, which I've thankfully been able to do with a lot of friends now. It's a weird situation I found myself in which I grew up an only child. I was playing Mario Party by myself, and only ever had like friends after school on a Friday to go play Mario Party or whatever other games with. But now it's like we could just play online. We could play with anyone. Online is now just a feature that's ingrained in it now. It's not like one that got added 2 years after with with Super Mario Party. So yeah, is there anything else about this game that y'all would like to add on?
I do have a point about playing with friends, because it is fantastic that the online is here, like built in from the start in a brand new Mario Party. Honestly, like what we wanted for years. We finally had it in Superstars. We finally have it again here with a brand new one, not just a celebration of the classics. But what baffles me about this game compared to Superstars is you cannot play local wireless. You cannot be in the same room and connect two different Switches together. And that's really weird to me. No, it is only all on one console or all connected online. And that feels like such
bizarre.
That feels like a really big oversight to me. Like, it feels like that should be there because it was there in Superstars, and it almost feels like they just kind of forgot about that.
I definitely wouldn't have noticed had no one told me, because I've never had to use the feature with other people in person. But I'm sure there are those that want to, and that they made use of it with Superstars that now they won't be able to with Jamboree. That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, because what comes to mind is like, you know, like kids like on like a road trip or something, all sitting in the back seat. They're gonna boot up their Switches. They're not gonna crowd around one Switch and play, you know, like they don't want to, rather. They'll want to each play on their own Switch and handheld mode, and for some reason they can't, and that feels very strange here.
There's also the element of, you know, just like in Superstars, there's character progress and leveling up and making money to spend in the shop. If you play in local wireless, everyone can use their own accounts and make progress in their own games.
Yeah.
You could play online all in the same room, but why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't have to.
Yeah. What the heck? Oh,
that's a weird one.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I look at this, I guess they're telling you, no, like, you just need one person, just put in the Switch and everyone connect their Joy-Cons and their controllers to that one Switch, but maybe that's not what everyone wants to do. Maybe everyone wants to play in handheld mode together, and it's jarring to me that you can't.
Yeah, I don't know if Nintendo thought it was just going to be like for everyone's convenience, like, oh, just use one console, or it was just a genuine oversight at this point.
My best guess is they might have like player data analytics and whatnot that says nobody did it, or not enough people did it with Superstars to warrant putting the feature in again. But I imagine they have some sort of way of like tracking that data, but I don't know.
This game is in spitting distance of being the perfect Mario Party.
Right.
It's so close.
Yes, exactly. 100% agree there. Like, it's so close to it. That's why there's these criticisms and these head scratchers. Because it's so close to it. This isn't, oh, this game could have been perfect, but it's not, so it's a 7 out of 10. Like, it's not like that at all. It's like, these are the things keeping it from being a perfect 10 out of 10, so it's a 9 out of 10 kind of situation. Like, it's so close to being perfect. And it's by far the most perfect Mario Party we've had since, and the best Mario Party we've had since, like, Mario Party 8 and DS, which were the last time we had the original formula in brand new games. Back in 2007.
It's been a long time coming since a game like this.
They seem to be receptive to player feedback now with the Mario Party series, so I wonder if they'll pay attention to stuff like this and maybe make adjustments either for this game later down the line or hopefully for the next entry as well. I do have faith in the team. They're cranking out good Mario Parties. They're 3 in a row now. So like we're back as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we're so back with Mario Party.
So happy about that. Like, this is one of those series that we were just wondering, like, is it just gonna flounder and just sort of like slowly die along with some other ones? But no, they've brought themselves back, and they're doing such a great job now. Like, they understand what works with the previous Mario Parties that succeeded, and are just expanding upon that. And we're getting such great titles from it now. So hopefully Mario Party continues to grow, and whatever happens on the Switch 2, that's going to be even better than Jamboree. Who knows? Maybe we'll make it to that 10 out of 10 when we finally get to the sequel from this point, or they'll release Mario Party Jamboree Deluxe Edition 8. Who knows at this point?
I'd be remiss to mention too, like it's not even that they're not trying new things on top of bringing back what worked, because like they had the ally system in Super Mario Party that was just way out of whack, needed a lot of attention, and they fixed it and made it something really special in this game. So like, not only are they giving us what worked in the past, they are figuring out what they made that didn't work and fixing that too, and that's so cool.
Like, they even brought back mini stars for the story mode, like the things that everybody quote unquote hated from Mario Party 9, 10, and that whole era. Like, and boss mini games too. Like, they've worked in a way to kind of celebrate the entire Mario Party franchise in this one game, in terms of, you know, referencing a bunch of things and pulling elements from a bunch of different ones, and it's surprising how well it all works.
There's a little bit of everything in Jamboree from previous Mario Party games, like even from down to little things from the DS. Even like, I guess was it stickers that they used in DS or something implemented in the DS games that they have here as well.
Like the hexes for like the traps.
Yeah, that's the ones. Yeah, like I would have not expected to have anything from the DS titles to be reinvented and reimagined here in a proper like console game. But you get that, you get elements from even the N64 era with like different shops have different items. Some of the items themselves come back, like the cellular shopper has the little ringtone when you when you ring in. So many little things from throughout the series that have kind of come together and been kind of carefully reimagined and refined for this experience that just makes one of the best Mario Parties that I've ever played. So very thankful about that. Was there any final comments on Jamboree that we wanted to make before we close this discussion out?
Just that I'm loving it.
Thanks for adding Pauline.
Yes, yes,
Pauline.
she's so good.
All the ladies are finally all together in one party game after all this time. And Ninji's there too. Thank you, Ninji, for joining us. I'm thankful that you don't yell after every little thing that you do, Ninji. You're just a little squeaky guy. The only other thing I would have liked to have was the reverse shroom from Mario Party 3.
Oh, yeah.
It's only been in that game, and it was apparently too powerful, and they couldn't introduce it ever again in Mario Party. Because it breaks all the junctions, it breaks everything about that game.
It does, it does.
Bring it back, just make it a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 5 roll.
Oh, that'd be interesting, yeah.
Sure, Brandon's warp block gang, I can't compete with my reverse shroom plan ever again, because only when we're playing Mario Party 3 does it apply.
It's not even warp block gang anymore. Like, it's super mirror gang now.
You got a
Swap
whole
mirror.
You got a whole warp mafia at your disposal because of all these items that can change where direction you're going in the game.
Does ND Cube watch our videos? If they joined the warp block gang?
Oh my goodness. Well, with all that being said, I think that about brings this discussion to a close. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you, Trish, for joining us. It's so nice to have you on this channel.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me. I am always happy to come talk Mario Party and also just come talk with you guys.
Yeah, please tell us a bit more about what you're up to and where we can find you.
Yeah, so you guys can find me over on my own YouTube channel, Toontress. I'm also on most social media pages at this point under the same name, doing all sorts of Nintendo content, covering Mario Party and streaming it over on Twitch, and looking forward to future Nintendo releases as I cover those as well.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, we got some more parties to get to, but please stay tuned to Good Vibes Gaming for more news, updates, and features on upcoming and recently released titles, because right now there's so many. I don't even know how we're keeping up with all these titles coming out right now. So I gotta go get those done right at this very moment. So, all right then. Take care, everybody. Till we meet again.
See you next time.
We were talking about Pro Rules, Roll 'em Waste, Roll 'em
Roll 'em
Waste Way.
Roll the waste way.